5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right. Hello, everybody. Patrick Johnson here with you. It is the Patrick Johnson Show. I am the great P-Man here on 94.3 The Game and 94.3thegame.com and the IBX Media app. It is the first day since mid-February without Pirate baseball, Tilk. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. I think we started whatever the Friday before the Daytona 500 was.
So 4 months. What a year. We had, I thought, great coverage yesterday in the postmortem. A lot of just guttural reaction, raw reaction. We had the audio. I've gotten a lot of comments on us airing that audio yesterday. And really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. We had pretty good numbers on the video metrics from what I understand. So that's good and makes sense. Pilk is here with us today. Lots to talk to. We're going to have Jonathan Wagner on. Wags going to be on to talk some of the Pirate baseball season. And Pilk, you know, I know you didn't get much of a chance to talk. You really, unsung in a lot of ways, covered this team pretty well all year, representing us in 94.3 The Game there. So I got some thoughts on some things, but I did want to give you a little bit of let me say some things, and then I'll let you kind of have a say, because obviously you followed the team pretty closely. Certainly, a fantastic year. If the goal is Omaha, they did come up short. I think that a lot has been made over apparently the back and forth and the way Evansville was acting, storming the field and all that after the game. But I mean, that happens. And if you don't want it to happen, beat them. But I mean, that also should tell you there how big of a deal it is to beat East Carolina. They had guys storming the field and dogpiling, and, you know, they even posted some stuff on social media about owning the jungle and all, you know, stuff that if you don't like that sort of thing, you got to beat them. Especially if you're a top, 16 seed, if you're a top team in the country, that sort of thing. I mean, to me, I think, so, and I'm not coming down necessarily on the players here or even Cliff, but I mean, there's a lot of fans are getting their dander up over this. I mean, this is the way athletes conduct themselves. Some do differently. This is Evansville. It's a huge deal for them. They're advancing to what it's like the Sweet 16, which it is, of baseball. So, of course, they're going to be excited. Thought it was a tired team yesterday. I agree with the analysis that Mike Mullis gave, but also I noticed that while watching yesterday, it looked like this team, they were struggling to catch up with mid to upper 80s. Tardy on a lot of those pitches. So I think this was a fatigued team. And it just seems like, I don't know what it is, but near the end of the year, it seems like sometimes the guys get a little worn down. And I know it's a long season, and they go through absolute grueling hell to get ready for it. And I know that Coach Godwin and company did a lot this year to get guys off their feet. But I don't think you can overlook that. I think had Jake Hunter been in the lineup, things would have been available to pitch and be effective. In other words, been healthy. I think that would have been a different deal. And that's just kind of my thoughts here. I mean, was it a successful season? Yes, because you got a championship and you won a lot of games, and there was some real landmarks. Swept State, swept UNCW, a couple tournament teams, beat North Carolina, who's going to the Super Regional. So there are a lot of things you can hang your hat on as hallmarks of success. I mean, Trey Savage had one of the great seasons in the American baseball history and in ECU baseball history. Pitcher of the year, obviously. Carter Cunningham had a great season in ECU history and was the American Player of the Year, obviously. So a lot of recognition and accolades, and rightfully so. But, ultimately you didn't achieve the goal you'd set out to fulfill on the field. Now, off the field, and Carter Cunningham talked about this, Pilk, so if you'll cue this up. He talked about all the things. He raised a lot of money for Children's Hospital this year. There's the spiritual component and growth spiritually of guys on this roster and on this team. And Cliff Godwin even, he'll admit that. With that said, this is what Carter Cunningham had to say.
It's a platform from God. And I thought this group utilized it to the best of their ability. I'm proud of each and every single one of these guys. I think the work we do off the field is far more important than a game we get to play. I've been doing this since T-ball, and so 6,000 people just came to watch me play a baseball game. Think about that. That's incredible. And I thank Pirate Nation for that, but it's a game. And I think the impact that we've had on the community and in the classroom that's far lasting than any win or loss will ever have. And God's eternal. All that's eternal. This is temporary. And so yeah, it stings right now, but I thought we planted a lot of seeds, and if one person came to know Jesus in my time here at East Carolina, then it was the greatest victory of all. It's a platform from God.
So again, off the field, a lot of
platform.
Off the field.
Sorry, it's on replay here, and I've got to fix other people's craziness.
That's all right. Point is that is one of the things you can count towards a victory, and these guys will remember. They'll remember the losses because athletes and coaches generally remember losses, but they'll also remember the times together in the locker room, the road trips, the times they hung out in the offseason. Everything. That's what the guys that are departing will remember the most. Pilk, I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on the season.
Yeah, it's kind of addressing what you're saying, and kind of what Carter said there. It stinks that it's over, but it is a game. The unfortunate thing, I think, is that the times
only
off the
one
field
team is happy at the end of the year.
Yeah, only one team's happy. And you want to win, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to soften the blow here. Losing sucks. We all wanted to go to Omaha. We all want to win a national championship. But I think what's hard for these guys, these seniors, is the fact that it's gone. This is a second family to them. They spend more time with these guys than they do with their own families during these last 4 or sometimes even 5 years. And then it kind of comes down to, what do I do next? So that's why it's so tough on them.
And I think if you're Carter Cunningham, you've got a chance to play in somebody's system. You've played your way into doing that.
Yeah. But it's not the same, man. There'll be guys moving up, going down, getting called up. It's not the same as playing college baseball.
At that point.
It's a business.
And speaking of it being a business, we didn't get to this yesterday, but Gary Gilmore laid it out. Now, he is, I think, ill, and I think Gary is I know he's calling it a career at Coastal Carolina. They got in this year. They won a national championship. He's been a stalwart in college baseball now for the better part of 3.5 decades, over 1,300 wins, over 1,000 at Coastal. And he kind of laid it out there on the state of college baseball, just college athletics and college baseball and where we are right now.
How a system worked. Everyone was a free agent every year. Do you even realize what chaos would be? It would go away. You wouldn't have those 3 sports. If you did, in baseball, it'd be the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers, Texas, and the rest of the teams couldn't compete because they would spend every amount of money they needed to spend to do it. And that's what's going on right now. There's not a level playing field. It's just ridiculous for me. As much as I'm going to miss the kids, and I'm going to miss the heck out of it, dealing with that mess, I'm telling you right now, the fact that there are teams in college baseball giving $2+ million of NIL money away.
Now, look, they have a pretty robust NIL budget at Coastal. They have embraced the NIL, and they've embraced it because in order to be competitive, they realized they needed to. I don't know where Gary Gilmore is on that. I mean, it sounds like obviously he's not a fan, but the NIL was something that is part of their program. It's a part of most every program, but I mean, they would go out and use it to actively get players. Coastal would, for full disclosure. But I mean, it goes back to what you're saying. Even Pilk, if guys go on to play professionally in this senior class or whatever they end up doing, even if they were coming back next year, it's not going to be the same. This thing is about to change. You could cue up Henley end of the Innocents because this is a bold new world we're going into. As the great Wes Durham says, the days of the doing it for the Letterman's jacket and the homecoming dance long gone.
They are. It hadn't trickled into middle school yet, so maybe that'll be about the only place we get it.
Well, but I mean, it's now into baseball. It's now into college baseball.
It is, and it's unfortunate. And I agree with what Coach Gilmore says there. Obviously, I have a lot of respect for him. He's done it the right way here in his time with the Chanticleers, 2016 World Series champion. Someone we were fortunate enough to interact with here in Greenville a couple years ago when they came for a regional in 22. But yeah, it stinks that this is what it's come to. This was not the intent. There were a lot of things that needed to change about college sports. Like I'm not going to go into all of them, but Coach Logan brought up the fact that he could have lost his job for buying a kid a hoodie or a jacket when he was cold, and that was wrong, and things like that
or
needed
giving
to
him
change.
a ride across campus.
Yeah, I mean it's nuts, right? I mean players, kids get hungry, you can't buy them a hot dog or something. It's nuts, but that we set out to fix those things, and we created just endless problems. I guess the one benefit you can say is the things that were fixed are bigger than sports. So at least you fix things like, a kid having a coat. That's more important than some team winning a game. So I guess, the pros outweigh the cons, even though it doesn't look that way on the surface. So that I guess is good. But yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's ruining athletics. And, at least if they could do something where you didn't transfer when you did it, and, you signed a 4-year contract like Justin Jefferson did yesterday, maybe you're in a different boat.
Well, I think his point of if you had just 1-year deals and everybody was a free agent every year, it'd be chaos. And there were no, there were no bumper guards as far as how money could be spent. I mean, now that will change to a degree in 25 with this paying $25 million out of the $100 million in the big dollars to athletes. 22% of your TV rev or of your revenue. Couple of texts. I don't think these guys would mind. Well, one of them probably wouldn't mind me calling them here, but the always anonymous text line. Wake Forest game ranks as the best pitcher's duel in games ever at Clark LeClaire. Yeah, no doubt. And that'll be something that will be long talked about, and rightfully so. It's a hell of a game. It was probably the quintessential moment in Trey Savage's Pirate career, in my opinion. Omaha is an exception/hope for every team in the country, but until you get there, not getting there doesn't mean the season is a disappointment. I'm not saying it's a disappointment. You just didn't achieve your on-the-field goal, if that's the stated goal. There were goals achieved. I mean, hosting a regional, a goal. Winning a conference championship in the regular season was a goal, and it was achieved.
Beating Carolina in a weekend series.
I mean, that was the goal that weekend, and they did that.
Yeah. It stinks. I think the reason it hurts so much this year is because everybody said this is the team. And the reason why it was the team is this team was just bred to win a super regional.
It had some pitching, yeah. It was set up pitching-wise to do that, but injuries and guys who maybe didn't quite rise to the occasion.
Yeah, but I said it going into the year. I said if this team gets out of a regional, they're going to Omaha. I just don't know if they can get out of a regional, no matter who the 2, 3, and 4 are. I was worried.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did say that. You even said it on this show a few times. All right. Before we go to break, let me do one thing here, Pilk. Got a report today from East Carolina Weight Loss. Went for an official weigh-in today. Since Christmas, I'm down over 50 pounds. Over 51 pounds, to be exact. So I feel better. I feel great, to be honest. And, the other numbers, I had them here. Pilk, will you indulge me while I look them up really quickly?
Yeah, all I was going to say, it's great that you've lost all this weight, Patrick, but you could have left some more today coming into our IBX Media Studios. It is currently 84 degrees in here. Our friend, salesman Gene Britt, walked in earlier today and asked me, he goes, Pilk, you trying to lose some weight? And I was like, no, not trying. Well, yeah, but it's not the goal. But I've got 2 fans blowing on me, and it's 84 degrees. So you could have lost 6 or 8 more pounds.
I could have. I'm glad you brought up Gene. I'm going to say something about him in a second. So, yeah, down officially 51 pounds for East Carolina weight loss, 7 inches off the chest. I'm a C cup. 7.5 inches off the waist. And 8 inches off of the hips. And the hips don't lie, as you know. So you can do this. It's a way you could do it naturally, without drugs, without injections, no prepackaged meals. You don't even have to exercise. Although you'll feel so good, you can get out and move around a little or push around some weights. No drugs, no surgery, no injections. East Carolina weight loss, 252-496-3610. Call them now. Still time to have a great summer and drop some. You can lose as much as 20 pounds, 30 pounds in a month. 252-496-3610. If you have a vacation later in the year, you could be in better shape, better condition, less weight to go on that vacation. EastCarolinaWeightLoss.com. Gene Britt's wife passed over the weekend. She had been sick for a while. Actually, Friday night, I believe it was, passed. They had funeral services and all of that over the weekend. My condolences to Gene. I actually met Gene's wife with him near where I was living at the time at a restaurant about a year and a half ago, 2 or 3. It was within the last year and a half. And it was great to see Gene. Gene's always just a great guy, good people, always has a real nice, kind of whimsical way of talking. And he listens to the stations and has been, a big supporter of this program. And I appreciate it. And Gene does a great job on our sales team. He's enhanced what we do sales-wise. And is just a good, soul-of-the-earth guy. His wife seemed like a lovely person. And our condolences to our colleague and coworker, Gene Britt, and his family for the passing of his wife. All right, we'll come back, talk some more of the NCAA tournament, talk some more ECU baseball. Jonathan Wagner from On3, he was here this weekend. We'll get the report on the ground from Wags when we come back.
Save thousands with a great rate. Get 0% financing at Greenville Toyota during the Great Rate Sales Event. Shop our massive inventory of new Toyotas, available as low as 0%. Hurry to Greenville Toyota today, where our volume saves you money.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Get low, get low, get low. 369, ooh, she fine. Hoping she can sing it to me one more time. Get low, Get low, get low, get low.
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
New Toyotas, 0 down and only $369 a month at Greenville Toyota during the Great Rate Sales Event. Buy with 0% or get Corollas. $369 a month with 0 down. This is not a lease. You own it. Plus, get our Greenville Advantage.
Taking the rage out of your drive home.
You just cut me off! But it's no big deal.
Patrick Johnson on 94.3 The Game and the new IBX Media app.
All right, welcome back. Patrick Johnson Show. Jonathan Wagner with On 3 joins us here. Covered a lot of their college baseball this year. Wags, I don't want to say you look peaked. You maybe look a little dehydrated and a little sun-crisp, but that's what I'm going to say.
Oh, he missed his – I'm going to spill the beans. He missed his tee time Sunday morning because he was too sunburnt from Friday and Saturday. He's crispy. He's well done.
Wags, you okay?
Yeah, I think I learned a very, very valuable lesson this weekend, and it is don't forget to spray sunscreen on your ears. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, that's a good one.
First 2 days, I did not spray my ears. I'm regretting it now.
Your ears, for those of you that are with us on the radio, Wag's ears match the color of his T-shirt, which is red. It's like a it's like you have matching earmuffs with that. See, I can give Wags a hard time because we're buddies, we're pals. He's on the show now, so we can give him a little bit of a hard time. Did you have fun other than the result? Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I mean the result aside, obviously you want to win. Sunburn aside, but it was great. It's always fun having regionals inside Clark LeClaire, and I don't take it for granted when we do have the opportunity to go and experience that in person. Just hearing the crowd, whether it's 12 o'clock on a Friday, 12 o'clock on a Monday, or 6 o'clock on a Saturday or Sunday, the crowd's always in it. It's a great experience, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Obviously, I wish it went a little bit differently, but yeah, it was a pretty fun weekend.
Pilk, where was the tee time? Where were you? What time was the tee time, and where was it?
I didn't play. I had to work. I couldn't be late to the game, so
sure. Okay.
I don't know what time the tee time was.
Who were you? Were you with? Were you in a power foursome? What's going on here?
Oh well, you know who I was going with. Intern Casey.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, that's far from a power foursome.
That's far from a power. How was Casey with the crowd? How did he do with the crowd?
Casey's Casey. I mean, we kind of just sit there and do our own thing for the most part. And do we sometimes judge some people who get a little too obnoxious? Yeah, absolutely. But
Oh gosh. Oh Lord.
But Casey, he gets a little more into it than you would think.
Oh no, I think Casey's a big ECU fan. And if I'm not mistaken, Pilk, he's a big Pirate baseball fan, right?
Yeah, that's the.
He's not.
Casey's a Carolina fan. Let's not get it.
Okay.
But I think baseball's the one where he's not totally against ECU beating Carolina.
Listen to Pilk putting Casey's business out.
I mean, you asked. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. Not going to say. Now, to be fair, his mom did go to Carolina. She rushed Franklin Street when they won the Natty in '82 with Jordan and Worthy. So it's not like he's just like one of those closet Carolina fans. Can't find Chapel Hill on a map. So I will give him that. Okay. And he likes him more than just basketball. He pulls for him in other sports.
Women's lacrosse, I'm sure, or soccer. All right, Jonathan Wagner on 3.com with us. Wags, the season's not I don't want my words to get twisted here. This wasn't a season, but I mean, your stated goal was to win, go to Omaha. That you didn't achieve that. So while you achieved a lot of your goals, you didn't, achieve the ultimate goal. And look, there's other teams that have not and will not also. So when you look back at this season, how would you rank this season? It had a lot of highs and it had some moments of frustration.
I think you guys said it earlier. Just obviously the end goal for every team playing college baseball is ultimately to be the last team standing. And every time you don't reach that, to an extent, it is a disappointment. And obviously, you want to get to Omaha, you want to win a regional, win a super regional, especially when you're hosting one. But yeah, just because you didn't do it doesn't mean it's a complete failure. I mean, there are still a lot of positives. I think off the field, first of all, I think you just look at the quality of men that are coming out of this program, the senior class, the junior class that could go drafted. I mean, just the quality of men that are leaving this program, that is a success in itself, and that matters. And, on the field, you developed probably a future top 10 pick, and there's so much more. I think so many guys on this team did take steps forward this year. And, obviously the ending stinks. You wanted to win on Monday. You wanted to go to Knoxville and win there, and you wanted to break down that door to Omaha. But, like I said, I mean, just because you didn't achieve that goal doesn't mean everything else is a failure. You can still have success in other areas while not succeeding in every single goal. So am I disappointed? Yes, of course. But there are still a lot of positives from the season and a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, and I do think there are a lot of individual accolades. We had somebody text in, that the game against Wake Forest and the pitching performance from Trey Yesavage will be an all-timer. Yeah, absolutely. And that'll be talked about. I think if you're talking about East Carolina, that's what a lot of fans will talk about out of this regional experience was that game. And there was, I mean, what theater it was the last few innings, and following the Savage performance and the pitching changes. I mean, an epic game, and the roar from the crowd at Clark LeClaire when the Pirates walked it off. I mean, those are really cool things. Was that the day you got burnt, or were you where were you at that juncture there, Wags, for the Wake game?
You see, I think on Friday I went to both games, and
okay.
So I think the initial burnout, and it's beyond the ears. It's the the sides of the knees, the sides of the arms are just little streaks where I guess I was holding the sunscreen a little too far away, and the wind kind of got to me. But yeah, I think by the end of the second day, that's when I really realized how bad it was, especially on the
right.
ears. And Sunday night, I was like, oh, I made a mistake. So I wasn't completely off the end yet, but man, I was getting there.
Okay. Well, all right. So the game, give me your just the epic, back and forth with Wake Forest.
Yeah, I think epic's the perfect word. I mean, I think going into it, we all were kind of looking ahead to Trey Savage versus Chase Burns on Saturday. We all thought it would be in the winner's bracket. We got it, just not in the way we thought. But man, I would make the argument that having that game in the loser's bracket added more to it, because the loser of that game, your season's done, and for that pitcher, your career in college is probably done. So I think it added a little spice to it, and you could feel it inside the Clark LeClaire Stadium. So yeah, it was awesome. I mean, you saw a pitcher's duel, and to be honest, I was a little surprised. I mean, even without the whole lung situation with Trey Savage, I think you tell me 16 days without pitching, and then he just comes back in the biggest game of the year, and you need him to be exactly how good he's been all year. I would have told you, I don't know if he's going to do it. And he exceeded my expectations through 100-plus pitches. He only had 6 strikeouts, but he worked around a lot. He put the team in a position to win, and that's what you ask for. And then, Wake Forest comes back in the 9th, and you kind of think, oh, boy, here we go again. And then ECU's offense answers, and you walk it off. It was truly an epic game. It was not who I expected to play in the loser's bracket if we got there. But, man, it was a fun one. And that's one of those games I will remember probably forever. And I'm a big baseball guy, but that pitching matchup alone, I will remember that game for the rest of my life.
All right, Zach Root goes out yesterday, I think just utter guts. Good. I mean, he's got great ability. Wasn't his sharpest, but, just guts yesterday. What do you think this puts to rest the notion from, internet trolls or whoever that, Root's trying to get to the end of the year so he can split and get in the portal and take off? I mean, if that's your mentality, you don't go out on a couple days rest and pitch 3 innings yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I think those rumors were all crap, to be honest, and there was, I don't think, any truth to them. And yeah, but I mean, those rumors, they also spread. People hear them. The players, they hear them, and it gets talked about. And Zach Root missed some time, but he came back in clear water and he looked good. And he pitched this week. He maybe wasn't as sharp as on Friday, but then I think he came back and gave you more innings yesterday on Monday, I guess it was, and I was shocked just because, you know, he had just missed so much time. He returned in Clearwater through 40, 50 pitches, and then, you know, he came back and he threw 75 on Friday. I said, there's no chance he's going to pitch again this weekend. So, you know, the fact that he did, not obviously the staff is going to do their due diligence. They're not going to put him out there if he's not ready to go out there. And I think in the heat of the moment, I was a little like, oh boy, what are we doing? But obviously he was good to go. And again, he gave the team a chance to win, and he did it in a situation I wasn't expecting. And man, he proved everyone wrong that was doubting him, including myself, and gave me a lot of excitement going into next year too.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question about the Pirates to wrap here. I got a question on three other things. Do you think could you hold? Do you care? Do you have any, can you hold? I mean, other than putting what is it called, Pilk? You put on your sunburn aloe. Other than putting aloe on your ears, do you have any? Are we keeping you from doing anything, Wags?
No, I'll hang out.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Wags
I put
is
aloe
gonna,
before I came on.
Okay, Wags is going to reapply the aloe to make sure he's good. And we're going to come back. Pilk, get ready for a 94.3 The Game sports update and Pirate Report. I want to remind everybody of this benefit raffle that's going on for AJ Outlaw from Coastal Ag. The drawing will be held July 12th. All kinds of fabulous prizes, offshore fishing trip out of Moorhead, 2 inshore half-day trips out of Bellhaven, and 2-person guided turkey hunt at East Carolina Outfitters, 4-person quail hunt at Allen Brothers Preserve. That includes overnight lodging and meals. There are a couple of rifles. AJ's family, has accrued some gargantuan medical bills through just some really unfortunate circumstances. A daughter who is really gravely sick, a grandchild that recently passed after being practically that child's entire short life on life support and a breathing apparatus. So his friends at Coastal, some friends of mine are doing this benefit raffle. You can get tickets. Let me give you a couple of phone numbers, at least one to throw out there. If you'll call 252-341-0553, you can find out more about this, or 560-0868. Both 252 numbers, 341-0553 or 560-0868. All right, more with Wags, but right now here's Pilk with a 94.3 The Game sports update and Pirate Report. Philip?
Thank you, P-Man. Starting in some of yesterday's news that we were unable to get to due to all the college baseball news that was going on. And starting on a sad note, Hall of Famer Larry Allen passed away late Sunday night at the age of 52. His family said that he passed suddenly shortly after returning from a family trip to Mexico. Allen spent 12 of his 14 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys, where he won Super Bowl 30 and was a six-time first-team All-Pro, as well as 11 Pro Bowls and 1 second-team All-Pro. In other NFL news, the Vikings have extended their star wide receiver Justin Jefferson on a 4-year deal worth $140 million that will keep him in the Twin Cities through 2028. $110 million of that is guaranteed. Last night, former Pirate Connor Norby made his Major League debut after being called up early yesterday morning by the Baltimore Orioles. He unfortunately went 0 for 3 in the 7-2 win over Texas. Maybe he will get that first hit tonight. In college baseball, South Carolina has fired their head coach, Mark Kingston, after 7 seasons. There are rumors that one of their top candidates is Cliff Godwin. Super Regionals have been finalized. They will start on Friday at noon when UConn travels to Tallahassee to take on FSU. Evansville will take on Tennessee at 3 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, West Virginia will be in Chapel Hill. At 7 o'clock, Kansas State will be at Virginia. All those series will have their game 2s on Saturday, as well as the other 4 series getting started, which will be NC State at Georgia, Florida at Clemson, Oregon at Texas A&M, and Oregon State at Kentucky. And earlier today, 24-time major champion Novak Djokovic had to withdraw from the French Open ahead of his quarterfinal match against Casper Ruud that was scheduled to take place tomorrow. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. On the other side of this timeout, we will have more with On3 Sports' Jonathan Wagner on the Pirates and Super Regionals.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt & Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt & Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color and let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
We have you covered with all the ECU news and beyond that you need for the drive home. The Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
All right, on threes, Jonathan Wagner. Wags. Pilk, did you forward that to Wags?
I did.
Okay, so my mom sent that. My mom's the only person that cares I'm on the radio. In fact, she might be the only person listening. So she sent me that and said, send this to your guest. And it's Wags. Jonathan Wagner from on3.com's the guest, Wags. So I you know, it looks reasonable. It looks moderately. I didn't even know what it was. I'm assuming it's some kind of topical ointment for sunburn. So, so there you go.
Wags is like, why didn't I call in today? I should have said my webcam was broken.
Right.
We're not even talking baseball. These guys are just giving me a hard time.
They're
He's
just
not coming
giving you
on
a hard
anymore.
time. You need a bucket hat or a wide brim hat. You've reached that point, Wags. Look, let me tell you something. Getting old is not fun, Wags. Take it from me, because I'm old.
He could have beat up Casey and stole Casey's bucket hat. Casey was wearing a bucket hat the other day.
And here's what you thought. You thought Casey looks like an a-hole with the bucket hat. And you know what? His ears aren't burned.
Man, luckily I did find a bucket hat to wear on Monday at least. But man,
and you look like an a-hole.
one.
But that's fine, because it would have been worse if that had been the case. All right.
Yeah.
We're just it's just dudes hanging out here. All right, Wags. Let's start with there's everybody's getting in Cliff Godwin's stuff about the interaction with the coach. I don't think he took very kindly to the dog piling on the field. But if you're East Carolina and Evansville kind of upsets you, I mean, it's a credit to your program. Now, I don't know what was said, between teams or, I mean, everybody's kind of, the guy with the personality and the home run and all. I mean, that's just, to me, that's all part of the deal. And the talk and all that's part of it. If they were mocking the players or were mocking, anybody directly, then yeah, that's probably a little classless. But, for them to dogpile, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, I mean, Cliff Godwin shook the guy's hand. He just talked to him, and he was emotional after that. So, fair or foul, Evansville with the dogpile and the playing to the fans. Again, if they were playing to the other team and the players, foul for sure. I looked at it more the angle I saw. They were kind of, mocking the fans, which is classless. But, I mean, beat them if you don't want them to do it. And the other part of this is – somebody sent me the tweet today. I guess they took a picture of the jungle and said they own it now. I mean, come on. So fair or foul, the reaction from the Purple Aces?
Yeah, I mean, I think, my seat's where I sit. I'm first base dugout, not quite there, but I'm pretty much perfectly in line with the third base left field foul line. And so I can see straight up. So, as I was walking out, at first, I sat there for a moment and just kind of took in the dog pile, and I'm just like, man. But, from my view, you couldn't hear, you couldn't see everything, but it kind of looked to me like it was kind of some, just telling them, like, waving at them, waving them goodbye and that kind of stuff, waving them to the dugout, whether it was dugout of the fans, I don't know.
Right.
But, yeah, and then I looked, as I'm taking my step onto the concourse, I look and, Cliff Godwin's at the front of the handshake line, and it was pretty heated, it looked like. And I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. And, yeah, for me, I think it's, they have every right to celebrate. I mean, I don't care if it's the host. I don't care if it's a 2 seed, the 3 seed, or the 4 seed. If you win the regional and go to super regionals, you're not human if you're not celebrating and dogpiling on the field. And now it just becomes a thing of, do you take it across the line? And, we don't know that. If I was right and I saw, some waving goodbyes, that's fun. But if maybe those hand signals were something that I didn't see, then that's where, and we don't know what words were exchanged either, because none of us could hear it. It was so loud. But there is a line, and I don't know if they crossed it. But as a general baseline, I think the celebration as a whole, celebrate the heck out of this. And if you do it next weekend, do it even harder.
What's interesting about this situation? I met some of the creative guys from Evansville. I was talking to them in the press box. I was complimenting them on how well their coach acted on Friday, how well their players acted. And they go, that's great to hear, because everybody in the Missouri Valley thinks we're a bunch of jerks. So supposedly they do have a reputation. Now, I will say the way their coach conducted himself in all the press conferences, even when they lost Sunday night, the way their players conducted themselves, their SID, their media team, everybody, they were really class acts. So I do have good things to say about Evansville. But it's just funny that everybody in the Missouri Valley doesn't like them.
Well, nobody likes you if you win. And, I mean, they won the title this year. And, I mean, they have moxie. And, who cares? I mean, as long as you're not crossing a line. But, if you don't want it to happen, you got to beat them. I think that's the takeaway here.
It's the dancing in the end zone thing, right?
Well, I guess.
You don't want me dancing in your end zone? Tackle me.
I thought this was a little bit of a subtle flex, maybe a receipt. AMAC retweeting a couple of things with NC State going to the Super Regional on the same day that East Carolina got beaten Game 7. And maybe I'm reading too much into it, but point is NC State made it through. What kind of chances do you give them in the next round?
Yeah, I think they definitely have a chance. And, I think that might be my favorite super regional matchup. NC State and Georgia and Athens. You talk about two offenses that can blow you away and two pitching staffs that I think are not as good as a lot of the other teams in the field. You're going to have some high-scoring games. I mean, I think they definitely have a chance. And am I going to pick them to win? I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet, to be honest with you.
Right.
And I'm still kind of going through that. And man, I think I lean Georgia, but I think it goes 3 games regardless, just because NC State's offense is too good. And AMAC's a big part of that, you know. So, yeah, they definitely have a chance.
I am the classic ABCer, although I did take a check from them this year. But I'm the classic ABCer. So I am – but I got hooked last night on LSU UNC. And – I like their coach. I think he's a heck of a guy, and I like. They obviously have great players. As much as it pains me to say that, Tar Heels advance on. They get Randy Mazey and West Virginia in Chapel Hill. How about Franklin Street 2 weeks in a row, getting LSU fans and now West Virginians? I mean, this is culture shock to the people of Franklin Street and the People's Republic of Chapel Hill. So. Wags, how do you handicap the Tar Heels and their quest to get to Omaha as the 4 national seed?
Yeah, I know. I really like that Carolina team. I think, coming into the year, I didn't know if they had the starting pitching to make it through a season. I didn't expect them to be the number 4 national seed. And, they lost Jake Knapp preseason. They lost Folger Boaz, however you say it, midseason. And if you told me preseason they would have lost both of those guys, I would have told you there's no shot they're where they are today. But the truth is, 1 through 9 of their lineup can beat you. And I think they have a pitching staff that relies on bullpen arms, and they have some pretty good guys back there. So, man, they're good. They're scary. I think they're going to win the Super Regional against West Virginia, and I think they're capable of going on a run in Omaha too. So I like the team. I like the way they're built, and they're a perfectly built postseason team, and that's underrated sometimes, but yeah, they get a lot of talent. They get a lot of good guys, a lot of depth, pretty much at every position, every spot on the pitching staff. So I like that team a lot, and I think they can go on a run for sure.
All right, Jonathan Wagner, Pirates lose a lot, and Trey Savage going to be drafted. I mean, there's a lot of question marks in a lot of areas going into next year. There's a very good, I think, kind of core nucleus with some of the young players, the freshmen we saw, Dixon Williams, who had a breakout in the regional in a big way, and it was really great, I think, for the second half of the year. So when you look at next season, give me your thoughts on the Pirates as it sits right now with this. And there's a lot that can happen between now and then, as we know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you do lose a lot. I mean, Trey Savage, you start there, and that's a big blow. There's no way to replace Trey Savage. And, you figure to return Root, and he probably takes over on Friday nights. And if he stays healthy and pitches well, like we expect him to, then that's a good Friday night guy. So you're in a good spot. But again, there is no other Trey Savage in the country. There's no replacing him. But, beyond him, I think just, Danny Beal, what he meant to this team, and any situation he could come in. He could pitch you 1 inning, bases loaded in the bottom of the 9th and get you a save, or he could come in the 2nd and take you to the 8th. And he could truly do everything. He's a great Pirate. And on the same side, Justin Wilcoxon caught every inning this weekend, caught every inning almost last year. And that's a guy you're going to have to replace. You have Ryan McChrystal, you have Walker Barron. You hope both of them return. You feel pretty good at catcher, but still, I mean, just transitioning that way is a big adjustment. And, Carter Cunningham, Jacob Starling, Jacob Jenkins Coward, assuming he goes to the draft, that's a lot of guys you lose. And there are pieces in-house already on this current team that can step up. We saw Colby Wallace step up this year. Riley Johnson played well. Bristol Carter, Luke Nowak, I thought, had a good, Clearwater, good regional. Even if the numbers don't back it up as much, I think they trust him. So I do think you have a lot of pieces that can step up. It's just how do they adjust to their new roles? And I think you have to hit the portal. And you have a big freshman class coming in. I haven't done my full-on research on the freshman class yet, but I do believe there are a couple of guys who can come in and contribute right away.
Hey, Wags, thanks a lot. Are you going to be putting out any kind of regional or super regional predictions or anything for On 3?
Yeah, I'll have my super regional predictions out tomorrow night.
Okay. On3.com, college baseball there, the great Jonathan Wagner, proud ECU alum, and a man who needs a topical and some aloe. Look at what I forwarded to you, proxy from Mama J. She knows her stuff when it comes to skincare.
Hey,
so
I got to go to the grocery store, so I'll go take a look at that. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, Wags. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
All right, there he goes, Jonathan Wagner. He is a joy, Pilk. He's really good. He's excellent. He does a fine job. I like having him on.
Yeah, I picked him to be friends with him for a reason. Still don't know why he picked to be friends with me, but
It sounds like you guys don't know why you all pick friends to be with Casey the way you guys drag him constantly.
Nah, we love Casey. We just, he's the punching bag sometimes.
He's a lovable grump. He's like me, a lovable grump.
Yeah, good analogy.
Don't quit radio silent on me. All right, we're taking a timeout. We'll come back and wrap up the show, tell you about what we got planned for the rest of the week, or at least the next couple days here on the Patrick Johnson Show.
West Virginia. Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place, and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Let's go! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time!
Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job. Woo!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
And now, the stunning conclusion of the show. It's the P-Man here on 94.3 The Game.
A couple of guys connected to baseball suspended. Former Red Sox prospect Jake Groom suspended a year for betting on baseball. Michael Kelly, A's reliever, suspended for betting on baseball. And this is just further fueling the Fire Manfred crowd. And I get that, people aren't happy with. So I don't know. This is coming from an OK Boomer guy. So I don't know the post I saw on it. So I don't know if it's, the Pete Rose thing. And we don't have time to unpack that. Speaking of the, summertime radio, sports radio chatter. But, I would argue that the safeguards are in place and they got caught. So this doesn't mean the gambling is bad.
Gambling's not
Am I
bad.
wrong on that?
Gambling's not bad, but insider trading is, I guess. If it's viewed as that,
you are correct on that. Yes, you are correct on that.
that's where, like I said,
But-
we could.
but my
We've
point
got a
is-
minute left in the show, and you should have brought this up, and we could have done the whole show on this. Come on, Patrick.
But I mean,
bad
the
timing.
safeguard. Yeah, I'm not sports and hard enough. The safeguards are in place, though. That would be my argument.
Yeah,
that would be my argument. And I mean, I think at this point, just put Pete Rose in. I mean, again,
I know
you can't bring this up with a minute to go, but I mean, just put him in.
I'm with you. He's still a Hall of Fame player, regardless of what he did. He's a Hall of Fame player.
Not a Hall of Fame person, but I mean, there's a ton of people who are not Hall of Fame people that are in the Hall of Fame. Tomorrow, I think we're going to link up with Brian Mull. Finally, we've got him in witness. We've put search and rescue out and found him. He's been in witness relocation. I think we're going to get a check-in from Eugene, Oregon, where ECU has a participant in the track and field championships. So Kirk Kraft may be joining us. Thursday, we'll get Aaron Fitt, who is in Greenville from D1 Baseball, on, and then be at the Big Rock next week. So looking forward to that. All right. Thanks to Jonathan Wagner. Thanks to Pilk. See you in the morning on Talk of the Town at 7 a.m. and back here at 5 o'clock tomorrow for the Patrick Johnson Show.